The captain says they have no chance of winning next Friday. The coach challenges him to a 50-yard bear crawl. The captain says he can only make it 30 yards. The coach tells him to give everything he has. Then he covers the captain's eyes with a bandana. His teammates gather around to watch. The drill is brutally demanding. One player carries another while crawling forward. It tests strength and determination. The coach guides the captain forward. His teammates cheer from the side. Soon he asks if he has reached 20 yards. The coach tells him to keep going. His arms are already numb, but the coach tells him to keep moving. The teammates suddenly stop laughing. They realize the captain has already reached 50 yards, yet he is still moving forward with his teammate on his back. When his last bit of strength is gone, he collapses. He still asks if they reached 50 yards. His teammates can barely hold back their emotions. They have actually reached the far end of the field. The distance is 100 yards, and he did it while carrying a 140-pound teammate. The captain had gone more than 3 times his expected limit. That is the real lesson. Sometimes the biggest limits are the ones we create ourselves. This powerful scene comes from the 2006 movie Facing the Giants. The story begins with a coach named Taylor. He has coached high school football for 6 years, yet he has never won a championship. One of his best players then transferred to a rival school. It was already the 3rd time Taylor had lost a key player. He could not understand why everything kept going wrong, but losing was not entirely Taylor's fault. Most of his players barely took football seriously. Some slept through class. Others struggled in school. That left little time for practice. And when they did practice, they barely tried. Their kicks went wide or missed badly. With a team like this, winning was almost impossible. Then they lost another key player. The Eagles quickly suffered 2 straight losses. The worst came against Doolittle County. They lost 21-7. They dropped passes. They gave the ball away repeatedly. Their defense had to carry most of the team. Taylor finally lost his patience. He told them they could not win without playing as a team, but the players barely reacted. To them, losing had become normal. And football was only one part of Taylor's problems. His old Chevrolet kept breaking down. Sometimes it would not start. Other times it stopped on the road. There was even a strange smell in his house. It felt like everything in his life was working against him. Then came his biggest personal struggle. Taylor and his wife had spent 4 years hoping to have a child. Eventually, Taylor went for testing. The results were devastating. His doctor said severe stress had affected his fertility. Treatment and adoption both seemed too expensive. One setback followed another. Taylor felt as if his last bit of hope was disappearing. That night, he sat alone in his office. He kept asking himself what he was supposed to do. How could he lead a failing team and turn his life around? The empty office gave him no answer. Then he noticed a classroom light still on. Several parents were meeting inside. They were discussing replacing him. One parent defended Taylor as a good man. Another said winning was what mattered. Taylor understood the harsh reality. People often judge results instead of effort. What hurt most was seeing his own assistant coach among them. Taylor had personally promoted that man. Now they were considering him as Taylor's replacement. When Taylor returned home, he told his wife everything. He felt like a complete failure. He believed he could not provide a better home or car. He was losing as a coach, and he could not give his wife the family they wanted. His wife tried to comfort him, but her kindness made him feel more guilty. From then on, Taylor felt trapped in darkness. He often woke around 3 in the morning. Unable to sleep, he sat in the living room with an old Bible. His wife quietly prayed for him. One morning, Taylor finally broke down and prayed himself. Years of failure and fear had become giants in his mind. And Taylor was not the only person facing a giant. There was also a student named David. David was a new transfer student. His father used a wheelchair. David was smaller than most players and had become timid. When his father suggested joining the football team, David refused. He believed he was simply too small. His father asked whether he truly did not want to play, or whether he wanted to try but was afraid. David worried he might not even make the team. His father told him not to let fear make the decision. David finally tried out. His soccer experience helped him make the team. He became the team's kicker, but because of his size, he mostly stayed on the bench. After the Eagles lost their first 2 games, David was relieved. At least he had not been forced to play. His father told him that fear was controlling him. David wondered why he had been made so small. His father told him that weakness can reveal strength. Later, while David was away, his father quietly tried to stand. He lowered his legs from the wheelchair. Then he grabbed a table and pushed himself upward. He could not quite stand, but his determination planted courage in David's heart. Soon, the Eagles played their 3rd game. Taylor gave David a chance after they earned a free kick. His father watched from the sidelines, but David lacked confidence and experience. His kick went wide. Nobody blamed him. Still, David felt defeated. The Eagles lost again. On the way home, David questioned Taylor's decision. His father asked whether he had given his best. David admitted that he already believed he would miss before kicking. His father told him that actions often follow beliefs. David said he could not even kick straight. He also could not walk. He wondered if he should simply stay home and feel sorry for himself. His father warned him that accepting defeat would only bring more defeat. Those words stayed with David. The parents became even more frustrated with Taylor. They approached the assistant coach again. Taylor caught them once more. This time, he refused to back down. Around the same time, a school psychology professor noticed Taylor's struggles. The professor told him an open door was still in front of him. Taylor admitted that he had been struggling and praying, but he could not see any change. The professor told him about two farmers who needed rain. Both prayed for it, but only one prepared his fields. Taylor understood the message. If he wanted change, he had to prepare for it. After thinking all night, Taylor found his direction. The problem was not just the team's strategy. It was their mindset. They needed to understand why they played. Football was not only about winning. It was about growing. It was about learning discipline. It was about becoming brave enough to face fear. The next day, Taylor asked the players why they joined the team. Some wanted a championship. Some wanted money. Most wanted a better chance at college, but every goal depended on winning. Taylor told them winning was not everything. Even the greatest trophy would eventually collect dust. What mattered was the belief they carried inside. Belief in themselves and the courage to face fear. Taylor then took them onto the field. He made them try the bear crawl. At first, everyone was confident, but after only 10 yards, they were exhausted. They dropped to the ground and started joking around. Taylor asked why they stopped. The captain said their next opponent was one of the strongest teams in the league. There was no way they could win. If the result was already decided, he said training harder was pointless. Taylor did not argue. Instead, he covered the captain's eyes. Then he asked him to attempt a 50-yard bear crawl while carrying a teammate. The captain thought it was impossible, but he kept moving. The coach refused to tell him how far he had gone. He only told him to give his best. The captain reaches 50 yards. He keeps going. The entire team watched in shock. They finally understood the lesson. Their greatest limits were not always physical. Sometimes fear created those limits. From that day forward, the Eagles began to change. They started arriving early. They trained without being forced. Their grades improved. Even the captain eventually earned a perfect score. David changed the most. After months of training, his kicking became extremely accurate. He was no longer just a backup. He became an important part of the team's offense. Another player named Mike also changed. He had a difficult relationship with his father. He had even helped challenge Taylor, but Taylor encouraged him to respect his father. He warned Mike not to make the same mistake he had made when he was young. Sometimes people understand a parent's love only after they grow up. Mike finally realized how much his father had done for him. One afternoon, he went to his father's office. Instead of asking for something, he apologized. He told his father that he finally understood. His father was deeply moved. He soon realized that Taylor had helped change his son. Meanwhile, the Eagles kept improving. Their record rose from 0 to 3. Then Taylor received another surprise. His old Chevrolet was gone. He could not believe anyone would take it. But the assistant coach found a note on a new truck. The school had decided to reward Taylor for his work. The paperwork had Taylor's name on it. Taylor was speechless. Then he noticed Mike and his father watching nearby. They were the ones who had helped make it happen. Taylor was deeply moved. He turned it into motivation. The Eagles kept winning. Eventually, they reached the semifinals. It was the first time in 10 years. The school even gave Taylor a raise. For the first time in years, his life seemed to be moving forward. But the semifinal opponent was a powerhouse. The Panthers were bigger, stronger, and deeper. The Eagles fought with everything they had, but the gap was too large. When the final whistle blew, the score was 28-10. The Eagles believed their season was over. Back in the locker room, the players were devastated, but Taylor did not blame them. He knew they had given everything. They had nothing to be ashamed of. They had already set a new school record. A few days later, everything changed. The Panthers were disqualified for using overage players. The Eagles advanced instead. They suddenly had a chance to play for the state championship, but their final opponent was even stronger. The Giants had won 3 straight championships. They were much bigger than the Eagles. They also had twice as many backup players. Fear spread through the team. Taylor saw it clearly. He knew fear could be stronger than any opponent, so he told them to let go of the fear of losing. They could not enter the game already believing they would lose. Fear grows when you feed it. The only way forward was to keep moving. The championship game began. The Giants attacked immediately. The Eagles struggled to keep up. The Giants scored first and intercepted a pass. Sometimes they stopped the Eagles before the ball could even be released. Soon the score was 14-0. The Eagles were overwhelmed. But Taylor noticed the Giants becoming overconfident. He changed the defensive strategy. The Eagles began attacking aggressively. They refused to let the Giants settle into a rhythm. Soon, the Giants started making mistakes. The Eagles took advantage. One player intercepted the ball and reached the end zone. The crowd erupted. The Eagles believed again. By halftime, the score was 14-7. Taylor knew the Giants had a deeper bench. The Eagles could not beat them through physical strength. They had to win with strategy. Taylor designed several unexpected plays. The goal was to keep the Giants guessing. The plan worked. The Eagles used quick movement and clever plays to break through the defense. The score became close. Then the Giants made a rough play against the kicker. Their kicker had to leave the game. Taylor had no choice but to put David in. The battle continued. The Giants had fresh players. The Eagles did not. The Eagles kept falling, but always got back up. The Giants scored again. The score became 20-14. With only 2 minutes left, the Eagles were exhausted. One of their leaders admitted he had nothing left. Taylor told him that this was when leadership mattered most. Real leadership appears when you're tired. Taylor asked for 4 more downs. Just 4 more. The Eagles formed one final defensive wall. The Giants attacked again. The Eagles resisted with everything they had left. They stopped the Giants 3 times. The crowd grew louder. The Giants could not break through. Their coach wanted one final aggressive play. Taylor realized what was coming. The teams lined up again. The captain made the key tackle. The Eagles recovered the ball. Suddenly, they had one final chance. They ran down the field. They reached the 34-yard line. Only 2 seconds remained. The Eagles were 2 points away from victory. A touchdown was nearly impossible. Their only chance was a long field goal. Taylor trusted David. David thought the distance was too far. His previous best was only 39 yards. This kick would be 51 yards. The wind was also against him. Taylor saw the fear in David's eyes. He called a timeout. He told David to stop thinking about failure. David had to give his best. The rest was out of his hands. David looked toward his father. His father had moved behind the goalpost and grabbed the fence. Slowly, he pulled himself upright. He raised his hands and encouraged his son. David was stunned. The fear in his eyes began to disappear. He saw his father standing. That gave him the courage he needed. Just before the kick, the wind suddenly changed. David kicked the ball. It rose high into the air. It kept traveling. Everyone waited. Then the ball went through. The Eagles had won. They had won the state championship. The final score was 24-23. The entire stadium erupted. The players hugged each other. They had finally become champions. Taylor told them to remember this day. They had defeated the Giants. More importantly, they had defeated the giant inside themselves. The movie contains many religious ideas. Taylor's life changes after he finds faith, but the story can also be seen as a lesson about breaking personal limits. It is not simply about a weaker team defeating a stronger one. It is about ordinary people breaking out of self-made cages. Everyone has a giant in their life. It could be a disappointing job, a difficult road, or one negative comment from another person. Sometimes we accept failure before we even try. Sometimes we decide something is impossible before taking the first step. But those giants are not always unbeatable. Sometimes we are the ones holding ourselves back. The real opponent is often not another person. It is the part of us that keeps telling us to give up. Take one more step toward your goal. Hold on a little longer. The giants that seem impossible can eventually fall. The captain thought 30 yards was his limit, but he kept moving. Only after reaching the end did he realize how far he had gone. That is the real lesson. A trophy can shine today and collect dust tomorrow. Cheers eventually fade, records eventually get broken, but the growth you gain along the way can stay with you for life. And sometimes the greatest victory is not defeating someone else. It is finally defeating the giant inside yourself. Speed 1.2.